We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. When it comes to certain countries or certain islands having complete power outages, I'm starting to wonder, are we looking at a test run here? A test run for a greater blackout. So what am I talking about here? Well, if you do not remember, on New Year's Eve, the island of Puerto Rico had a complete blackout due to, supposedly anyway, the failure in an underground cable that had been long out of order. They tried to solve this issue as fast as possible, but the very next day, on New Year's Day, half of Puerto Rico was still in the dark. Half of the population had no power whatsoever. So that was the massive blackout in Puerto Rico on December 31st. But a couple months before that, in October of 2024, there was a massive blackout in Cuba. Cuba's electrical grid shut down on that Friday in October, plunging the whole country into a blackout after one of the island's major power plants had failed, according to its energy ministry. But about 2 months before that, in August of 2024, the entire country of Lebanon also had a nationwide electrical blackout due to one of its power plants failing as well. Do we see some kind of pattern here? Well, almost 2 months after Puerto Rico had its blackout, the entire country of Chile is now enduring a blackout.
A nationwide blackout forces the streets of Santiago to run on little more than passing headlights. Thousands of soldiers have been deployed to affected regions to guarantee the safety of people left with little to do during a nighttime curfew.
The blackout happened while I was at work. Our equipment shut down, so after 30 minutes, our bosses sent us home.
Authorities were quick to rule out a cyber attack as the cause, confirming a crucial transmission line had been disconnected. In a late-night address, Chile's president said power had been restored to around half of the 8 million homes affected.
All our energy is focused on ensuring that companies comply with the recovery of the system and that electricity is restored throughout the entire country.
The outage hit in the early afternoon. Mines in Chile's north were affected, though no emergency situations were reported. In its more populated central and southern regions, traffic jams stretched for miles, while others became trapped in elevators.
There's nothing. No cash, no metro, nothing.
The Santiago Metro, which transports millions of passengers, was forced to shut down, with several people evacuated from stalled trains.
Very interesting, right? Like I said, almost 2 months after one line had plunged Puerto Rico into darkness, apparently one line has now put Chile into darkness. Let us also not forget, back in 2024, 2 months before the Lebanon blackout, in July, there was the CrowdStrike outage, which pretty much put any organization with a Windows computer down on their knees, pretty much crippled them. Banks, grocery stores, pharmacies, airline industries, again, almost any organization that had a Windows computer, which is all of them, could not operate. CrowdStrike, pretty ominous name, right, is the security for Windows, which pretty much took everything down. And who is CrowdStrike created by? Well, none other than the World Economic Forum.
History is truly at a turning point. We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected. In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever. What is also needed is a summit like this one to go beyond crisis management and to look into constructive ways we can build our common future.
There are so many hints and clues from Hollywood, the entertainment industry, and we do know they love to use entertainment, the so-called powers that be, love to use entertainment to give us predictive programming, the truth in plain sight. From The Simpsons to Leave the World Behind to even this latest Netflix series, 0 Day, they are showing us the grid going down, a cyber attack.
All right, everyone, get out your remembrance candles. Granny Lisa, why do we light a candle every Thanksgiving? In remembrance of the great blackout when we actually had to write things down by hand.
With all this predictive programming, with all of this news coming out every 2 months, there is a major blackout somewhere. I wouldn't doubt one bit we are looking at training exercises for the big day. There are people out there that are looking for a major blackout, the grid going down, because they believe it'll put them back in the 90s, in the 80s, before there was such a reliability on computers. But people don't realize that if a grid going down would pretty much fling them back even before the Stone Ages. Because even those in the Stone Ages knew how to live off the land. A lot of us today, not all of us, but a lot of us, we don't know how to live off the land. We rely on computers. While all of these billionaires and a lot of these millionaires have these fabulous underground bunkers to supply them with everything they need in case a blackout does indeed happen. In this next disturbing video, why does AI have its own secret language? Reading this article from Forbes, which was published on February 25th, what is Gibberlink mode AI's secret language? And it goes on to say that a recent viral video showcases 2 AI agents engaging in a phone conversation. Midway through, one agent suggests, before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibberlink mode? This is the video that is currently going viral.
Thanks for calling Leonardo Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I'm an AI agent calling on behalf of Boris Starkov. He's looking for a hotel for his wedding. Is your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibberlink mode for more efficient communication?
Now, these news articles and what you saw in the video, they're stating that this Gibberlink mode was created so these AIs could talk to each other more efficiently and faster. But again, taking a look at the video, it really doesn't look that much more efficient and faster as opposed to if they were talking in English, Spanish, or any other type of language. So yes, apparently it seems like these AIs now have their own language, and you would need to use and trust AI in order to translate. I mean, just a couple days ago, we were getting news that robots are getting these type of bodies powered by AI. It seems like these creators of these AIs are doing all they can to rush the downfall of humanity. Even going back to this Forbes article, this article continues to say, Gibberlink concerns why AI's private conversations matter. And again, the article goes on to say that we often assume that technology exists to serve us, but what happens when it starts talking in ways we can't understand? And we pretty much have to rely on blind trust, or again, using another piece of AI technology to translate what they are saying. We have to blindly trust another piece of AI equipment that what it's translating is 100% true, and it's all about transparency. AI's tendency to over-explain or make decisions with little human input isn't new. The challenge with Gibberlink mode is that it could accelerate this issue, allowing systems to act autonomously without oversight. And this article begs the question, who is accountable when AI makes a mistake in an environment where human interaction is minimal? Without curiosity driving us to question AI's actions, we risk entering a world where AI influences decisions, but no one really knows how. But they have absolutely no need or urge to slow AI down. Let's just see what happens when the $500 billion Stargate rolls around, the most powerful AI program or project ever. In this next video, when are we going to get that Jeffrey list? I know there's a task force out there to now, I guess, oversee the list and drop it when it's the right time. I don't know if they're cleaning things up on the list. Who really knows? But this next video that comes from WFF News on TikTok is some very good information to remember when it comes to this whole Jeff ordeal.
Did you know that on the night of Jeffrey's unaliving on August 9th, 2019, a jail official allowed him to make an unmonitored call to his mother? But the problem is that his mother, Paulina, passed away 15 years prior. According to a Justice Department Inspector General report released in June of 2023, the manager escorted him to the shower area to use the phone, dialed a number, and left after a male voice answered and his shift ended. The call was not recorded or monitored, which violated the Bureau of Prisons policy requiring such calls to be supervised on a recorded line. Now, the unit manager is on record saying that he put him in the shower to make sure that he was safe. But obviously, his safety didn't last long. So the big question is, who was he talking to? Because it obviously wasn't his mom. There were some reports saying that this person was listed as individual one. So who could that be? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
So yeah, with all of this Jeffrey news that's currently going on, with this big exposing that's about to happen, we have to remember that this phone call, this fake phone call, took place before he supposedly passed in his cell. And if you believed he passed away, well, I really don't know what to tell you at this point. More than likely, that phone call was telling him to prepare. They are about to get him out, and the instructions. Because if you also remember, on that same day, both the security guards that were monitoring his cell fell asleep, and the security cameras that were monitoring him happened to have broke as well. His cell buddy that was with him to make sure he didn't do anything to himself was transferred out at the last moment. So, do we really believe any of this? This is all just theater. Let us also not forget it was the very corrupt NYPD that was sent to the island to clean up anything that they needed to clean up. This was captured with a drone. Now, I mean, if Jeff was really escorted out of his cell and he's still alive, perhaps on an island somewhere, or has some kind of face surgery, which, I mean, come on, really isn't outside the realm of possibility, then there's not really a snowball chance in hell that we are going to see some real big names go down for these crimes. More than likely, when the list released, we're going to see some names that we know. So there's going to be some fall guys, and we're going to see a lot of names we don't know. How long have they had this list for, and how long have they known about certain names in connection to all this, and how many people have been arrested so far? Exactly. But maybe, just maybe, there is a major takedown coming that involves all these major players, and a lot of people will go down that are connected with this. But then again, maybe I'm just wishful thinking. In this next disturbing video, talking about wishful thinking, is it possible, just possible, we can have some normalcy, people acting normal, especially on social media? This woman that you see here went to multiple different grocery stores over the course of 4 years. Police found a trove of videos of her urinating on different products, including food. She cost one grocery store $1,500 worth of damages, and they had to recall products going all the way back to 4 years ago. Police finally did an investigation against her just this February.
This is a real shocker.
Yeah, she needs some kind of help, something.
I mean, nothing surprises me anymore.
Shoppers in Keene are equally confused and disgusted after learning about the arrest of Kelly Tedford. The 23-year-old is now charged with felony criminal mischief, accused of using her own urine to contaminate products at the Monadnock Co-op grocery store and posting a video of the act online.
So there's tons of people that shop there.
No, that's not right.
Keene police say they got a tip about that video on Valentine's Day and contacted the co-op. The store, writing on its website in part, "We immediately reviewed store video, identified affected products, removed them from our shelves, and sanitized all surfaces. We also reached out to members who purchased at-risk products. The co-op is issuing a recall for several types of quinoa, plus cornmeal, polenta, coconut shreds, and raw walnuts due to contamination. Investigators say it will cost the store more than $1,500.
I can't imagine if there was somebody in there that actually saw her do that, what they would do.
According to police, this wasn't an isolated incident. Investigators say they've uncovered multiple videos showing Tedford contaminating other stores with her urine dating back as far as 2021.
I'm completely shocked and dismayed about what this woman decided to do and for how long she's gotten away with this.
Police haven't said exactly where those other locations are, but noted more charges may be coming.
And we also have a lot of people that are trying to capitalize on the strangest things.
Tedford was released on personal recognizance and is due in court in April.
Demonic. This is absolutely what this is. Demonic. And I'm sure somebody somewhere purchased one of these food products because she mainly did it inside food products. Some people may be saying, well, if she urinated inside these food products, how would it go unnoticed? But we don't know how much she actually urinated inside these food products. She could have done very little to where it was barely noticeable. Absolutely, absolutely disgusting. Talking about government cover-ups, in this next video, people in Greece back in January were protesting. Now, I have to say, I was not familiar with this protest or why these people were protesting, but back in 2023, there was a major train collision called the Tempe train collision where two trains had collided. And over time, there was a major cover-up. The government in Greece would do their best to try to sweep this under the rug as much as they can, but every so often, the people in Greece, they would protest for transparency and more information behind the cause of this crash. Over 50 people did lose their lives and 80 more were injured. This individual on Instagram, Evdokia, I believe that's how you pronounce it, was involved in this train crash in Greece, and she does a great breakdown as to what's currently going on.
Are protesting all around the world, and here is why. 2 years ago, two electric trains, one of them carrying passengers, the other a freight train, collided head-on. I was in the second wagon. The crash was devastating, but what followed was even worse. A massive explosion, big fire, 57 people died. Many survived the impact, only to be burned alive. But here's what's equally horrifying. The government covered it all up, moving the soil and covering the crime scene with cement. In just a few days, while one victim was still missing, videos of the freight train were deleted. Voice recordings were altered. The official report skipped the autopsy, skipped the explosion and the fire. Forensic and medical investigations intentionally incomplete. A long list of laws has been broken, and when we spoke up, we were mocked as conspiracy theorists for 2 whole years. But it didn't stop there. The government banned further investigations in the parliament. They dismissed the European prosecutor's report. They protected those responsible, including the Minister of Transportation, and even rewarded the ones who helped cover it up. And then 2 key witnesses died unexpectedly. The son of the only public prosecutor who tried to fight for justice went missing. Just 1 day after the memorial artwork mysteriously disappeared. This is no coincidence. This is not incompetence. This is organized crime. So no, we're not just protesting because the railway system was a moving coffin, despite billions being poured into it. And we're not protesting because there is a general delay for the trial. We are protesting because Greece is governed by criminals.
In this next video, were you aware there is a human egg farm in Georgia, the country of Georgia? Thai women, they were sent there under false pretenses. When they arrived to this location, they are forced to stay there by Chinese gangsters for, again, their eggs for surrogacy reasons. I'm very surprised this story isn't bigger than what it is. There are news articles talking about this, multiple news articles, but again, you would think it would be a lot bigger. And I'm sure something like this is currently happening all over the world. This next video comes from Grace Unfiltered on TikTok, and he does a great breakdown about this egg harvesting in Georgia.
Why is nobody talking about the human egg farm that they found in the country of Georgia, where they were holding women captive and taking their eggs? According to human rights research, earlier this year, a bunch of Thai women responded to an online ad offering lucrative surrogacy opportunities abroad. They were offered a monthly salary of 25,000 Thai baht, or about 745 American dollars, and an all expenses paid trip to the country of Georgia to help childless people. But upon arrival, their dreams turned into a horrifying ordeal, because once they arrived in the country of Georgia, their passports were confiscated, and they were informed that they had entered the country illegally, facing arrest if they attempted to leave. And they were confined to houses with upwards of 70 Thai women, where they were subject to forced hormone injections just to stimulate egg production. And under anesthesia, their eggs were harvested monthly using machines. with their eggs allegedly sold on the black market for in vitro fertilization purposes, according to the Bangkok Post. And some of these women who were desperate to escape were told that they could buy their freedom anywhere from 50,000 to 70,000 Thai baht. And obviously so many could not afford this, so they remained trapped. And one of these victims' families managed to pay this ransom, and that allowed her to return to her family last year on September 9th. And her testimony shed light on the harrowing conditions and the exploitation that these women suffered, according to Civil Georgia. In response to these revelations, Georgia officials, in collaboration with Thai officials and Interpol, have launched investigations into this human trafficking ring. The Georgian government is also moving to declare commercial surrogacy illegal to prevent this from happening again, according to the Bangkok Post. This scandal exposes the dark underbelly of the global fertility industry, where vulnerable women are exploited for profit. It's a stark reminder for the urgent need of greater restrictions and international cooperation to protect these individuals from such inhumane practices. So ladies out there, be careful and stay safe.
In this next video, about a week ago or a couple weeks ago, I made a video where I said eventually they are going to blame all these plane crashes, all these aviation incidents on UFOs, UAPs. So what has come out? Well, apparently News Nation released a video where a United States pilot discusses his close encounter with a UFO and how it came very close to his plane. This next video is from Hallucination Hippies on TikTok. And again, it's all going according to plan.
This is going to sound weird, but I just had a football-sized UAP pass right under our wing. That's from newly leaked audio of an Air Force pilot on a secret flight just outside of Los Angeles. In a recent incident, the pilot reported a close encounter with an unidentified flying object. The pilot described the object as dark gray, cylindrical, and approximately the size of a football. It passed about 10 feet beneath his aircraft's wing. Despite attempts to identify it, the object's origin remained unknown. Check out this clip from News Nation and then let's talk.
What you're about to hear is the voices of the pilot and air traffic controllers, and it's set to computer animation. Take a look.
LA Thunder, Troy 2-1. Troy 2-1, go ahead. It's not weird, but I just had something pass underneath my wing. Maybe like a football-sized object right underneath our wing.
Troy 2-1, Roger. Do you think it was a drone or?
I have no idea. I got my sensor operator looking for it on the camera right now. We'll see if we can find it. But it's like a dark gray cylindrical object, and it was probably the size of a football, and it passed maybe 10 feet under our right wing.
Troy 2-1, Roger. Thank you for the report. Keep me advised if you find anything else out.
Yeah, we'll do. We're looking for it now. And okay, correction. LA Thunder, Troy 2-1. We got something on air-to-air radar. We're trying to get visual on it.
Troy 2-1, Roger.
But it's gone. I may not have to worry about it, but I am plenty worried about it.
So these encounters are not isolated events. Over the years, numerous military pilots have reported similar close encounters with UAPs. These consistent reports from credible observers like pilots highlight the need for thorough investigation into understanding this phenomena, because it's crucial for a number of reasons, obviously, but in this case, definitely for the safety of our airspace.
Yes, definitely for the safety of our airspace. And again, very strange timing that this is now coming out. And we're going to see more and more of these as we progress into the future and more of these plane incidents occur. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.